All right, now that should do it. That should do it. Let's find out. We're going to get a little test here. Don't get all crazy on me now, CNMI. Let's find out. I have no idea why things got a little squirrely. But sometimes it's if that was something over at McDonald's, it would be a technical McDifficulty. All right, now it sounds like we are rolling. I love it. All right, so we should be good to go. So without further ado, we do the French style. Good morning, Marianas. Nothing like a little technical run around to make you smile, keep you on your toes, and get you ready here. It's a Thursday, so everybody's wondering what the heck is going on. You think you'd have it done 4 days into the week? You can't figure it out? Leche. I know. I'm part of that club. Club Milk. Hey, but we're good to go now, and I will take it. Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. You're looking live at the Soaky Sloppy Beach Road in Oleai right now as people are trying to get one way or the other, and they're doing it in a drizzly conditions over here. It is not what you would call beautiful outside, but it's still better than being in California right now. Hey, look, there's a guy who just walked by. That guy wouldn't be in California. All right. Well, hey, let's start looking at the traffic today. We're going to get you your first look because while it is important for us to rock out with a little Parker to get us started, we want to make sure you know how to get to work and avoid the places if you can, because not all the spots out there are great today. So let's take a look. Hey, I'm with you, Parker. I don't feel like doing anything today either, but we're going to do it. All right, let's take a look all the way down. You are looking at miserable traffic. This is what it looks like on the Google Maps. That red and yellow, that's what you're looking outside at Oleai right now. That is some serious congestion out here at 7:46 a.m. here on Thursday. All the way from Joe 10 Susupi, all stretching north to the AK intersection. It is just bad, but it's bad from AK going south also. Also, hey, folks, if you're trying to get to Beach Road on the CMG, it's going to take a while, too. Over there by the AK intersection, it is hard to get there. Take a left, take a right, go anywhere you want to go. It is difficult to get through right now. If you're over there by the IT&E intersection, your IT&E internet service is going to be great, but that intersection, not so much. That's not the intersection that matters right now. Maybe that's what we should call it, the intersection that matters, because it's hard to get through it right now. Over there, all the way down past the mobile at Chalonquiza, you have got a big backup. If you're heading north, there's a backup for you too. If you're heading south, there's a backup for you too. Everywhere you want to go, there's a backup over there. Now let's go to one of the perennial love spots. Actually, folks, all the way down from Maddie's Barbecue trying to get to Shell Dandan, you already know it's not where you want to go. If you could turn off and get around somewhere, that's what you need to do, because it's going to be a long stretch of waiting in line, watching like 10 cars get through the light before you're able to do it. What about over at NMC? Yikes. It's almost all the way back to Java Joe's. That's how far back it is if you're trying to get to the light over there at NMC. And once you get to NMC, it's a slow go everywhere you go, because they've got that construction project on there where they're replacing that main line, and that is not great. The only thing is that they've only got one lane left to go. It looks good. I saw all the pavement, all the concrete going in there. So once they get that last lane, we are going to be in good shape coming down that hill or going up the hill. Either way. But right now, Oleai, man, I'm just watching guys creep up on that other lane. They're like, oh, no, they're going to let me in. Yeah, sure. There's always a sucker. You can't let those guys in. How about over there in Chalonpiao? Chalonpiao is not where you want to Chalonpi now, because it is slow everywhere you go to. If you're coming down Route 32, coming down the hill, it is sluggish. That's a nice way to put it. Backed up all the way to Texas Road. You might as well just go down Texas Road, pick yourself up a nice empanada from Terry's or or the or Terry's or Galaxy. Well, I saw Keith's question. I'm going to get on with that. It's funny. I know. Also, traffic on Beach Road from the Blue Sky Market all the way across Hopwood and dragging all the way down to the just about the post office. Yeah, the post office intersection. It is a slow go all the way around. Let's head up north a little bit. I know it's central, but it's north from where we're talking about. And look at the Navy Hill intersection. And it's actually not that bad. Actually, it is that bad. It's not good at all. The tennis courts, it is slow all the way around. People going up and down, higher up on Navy Hill as well, because you got all those folks taking people to GCA. But man, look at that. It is slow everywhere, in every direction at the American Memorial Park tennis courts. So guys, the only solution is go early or go late. And if you go at this time, you're going to be late anyway. So just settle into it and don't get all mad. All right. And we got a little bit of rain. I don't know if that caused any flooding, but we definitely got some slowdown over there in Tenapug. Wow. I didn't expect that going on today, but it certainly, actually, no, it's not even at Tenapug. It's just above Lower Base Drive. It's slow. Something going on over there. Also got a little bit slow at the base of Capitol Hill, but not too bad. Not too bad. Could be worse, right? All right, so that's what you're looking at. It is getting brighter outside, so we got that going for us, which is nice. Looking at all the cars, you don't see any of the windshield wipers going, so the rain has effectively stopped. Oh, just right when I say it, 2 of them. So it's just a little drizzly. But it's a good idea that they're going slow on the roads because you don't want to mess around out there. Not today. Not when it's sloppy. It's just being great, and that's it. Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Good Morning Marianas. I couldn't think of a better way to start the day than to be here with all of you. This is going to be great. And I know, Keith, those are the dumbest questions. I know. And that's all comes from watching what's happened in like the mainland and everything right now, where everybody's losing their mind. I can't believe it. It is funny. We'll get to that, and we'll get into all the difference between here and the mainland. We're not crazy, I think. We're not perfect, but that's all right. Hey, right now it's 80 degrees outside here in Saipan, and the humidity's at 79%. It's drizzling, so it's going to feel wet definitely when you get out there. I had to dodge some raindrops before I was leaving the house today. We're looking at some isolated showers and partly sunny skies today, high near 87, with winds out of the east at 11 to 14 miles per hour. It's going to get a lot sunnier in here in a little bit because we're going to have Miss Earth. We can ask her what's going on with the weather. She's in charge of the earth, so she could probably tell us what's going on. Also, tonight we're looking at some isolated showers, partly cloudy skies with a low around 77. That should come into play because tonight over at 360 Beach Club. Do you know about 360 Beach Club? So it used to be West Coast Restaurant. Before that, it used to be Naked Fish. Before that, it was JJ's. Right now, it is the 360 Beach Club over there in Susupi, and that is where the governor is going to be tonight, and we're going to be there too because we want to check that thing out here. Where is it? There it is. So we got 2 things going on. Today is going to be tonight, the Marianas Business Network, the Moving Our Economy Forward Town Hall with Governor Arnold Palacios. It's free to enter. They're going to have food. They're going to have drinks. You can get in there. You need to RSVP, so go ahead and do that. And then you see on there, it's the Asvard tax series. And and that's not going to be tonight. That's going to be Saturday. Sorry about that. We posted this stuff on the page. You could scroll up. You could find it. Just look in the photos section. You will see both of these. And you'll be able to click on the QR codes, click on the links, and do all that stuff to get more information about both of those. They are things that you definitely want to know about. No doubt about. Hey, if you think our weather is bad, I got to tell you, it's so much better than what is happening, excuse me, in the mainland right now, because it is awful. Really, it is rather awful. Oh, man, hold on. Sorry about that. I am looking at the shared screen for this, and I want to make sure I got it for you. And it's just not the right screen. Here. This is it. This is what we want to look at for you. And it's kind of terrifying. You know, remember seeing all that footage of what was happening in in Hawaii. This is what's going on in California right now. There's like at least 70,000 people. Excuse me. There's at least 70,000 people. That is a lousy looking resolution on the live feed from the Associated Press. But they probably don't have great coverage right now over there because of the all the fires and all the power outages and everything like that. And I imagine it's affecting their cell service and everything. And I can't imagine how they're broadcasting this. Look at that firefighter who's like right there. He's got to be baking against that thing, trying to put out that fire. 70,000 people relocated. It is absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. Wildfires? Okay, I know. I was not going for that. But it is. And hopefully, guys, we're thinking about those guys because it's Los Angeles. Like, it is just crazy how much how much is burning over there. It's just absolutely crazy. All right. Good morning, everybody. Who do we got? That's so funny. I see it's Tobot saying, why isn't NMI News Service on the ballot for SoMe? I don't know. I don't think there's a category for dudes who do morning shows. I would think that that's it. And that's just fine with me. It's okay. I don't think about it. Well, I mean, like, because those guys probably do like fun stuff, right? And that's cool. And I don't even think about it. I didn't think that that's what this would be. The NMI News Service, Good Morning Marianas. I don't know. And I don't know how many people are really watching it from like that kind of perspective. So it's a little crazy, but hey, it's a good idea. All right. Hello. Good morning. That's awesome. Hey, good morning, Eric. Great to see you this morning. Vincent Raymond, thanks for tuning in. Keith, yeah, great to see you too. Ace Hardware. Perfect now, the sound. Awesome feeling. It worked. I got to go and start. I just brought a hammer and started knocking on things and we're good to go. Juan, thanks for tuning in today. Great to see you as well. And man, I'll tell you, I'm glad we had to do the restart this morning because we did have those technical difficulties rocking and it was plenty fun. We're going to get into like all the national headlines and stuff like that for sure. Again, we have Miss Heavenly Pangolinan, Miss NMI Earth. She's going to be coming in here in just a few, and we're going to get to be like the coolest part of the morning for sure. Before we talk about all the other pretty much everything else we're going to get to today, and it's going to be great. You're asking like, hey, what's up with all the crazy questions that you got on there? On the post this morning. I know it sounds crazy, right? So let's get to that real quick. Hey, Sophia, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. Great to see you. The reason why those questions, so what are the questions that we put on there? Is that should Canada become the CNMI's 4th senatorial district? Should the CNMI annex Guam? Will the governor rule out the use of economic force to bring the FSM under the CNMI control? Get the answers to these and other ridiculous questions right here this morning. Why? Because these are 3 of the big issues that people are talking about in the mainland, save for the wildfire. President President-elect Trump, I should say, is on his way in, and he's talking about making Canada the 51st state, talking about not ruling out the use of military force to take over, to annex Greenland. And also taking the Panama Canal. I know it's a great topic for discussion. I would love to have a conversation with you guys about this stuff because I think it's interesting. What would the purpose be, especially, of a lot of these things, and what would the reason be about having those conversations? Yeah, Canada and Greenland and the Panama Canal. It's all 3, right? So it's not like it's a package deal. But I think it's a good conversation to have. Now, probably not going to be asking Miss Earth all about those questions, but she's got something cool coming up, and I want to make sure that we can help promote that for her because she's going to be working. Louisa, just got your message, man. I'll tell you what. To talk about Canada, I've been to Canada a million times. When I grew up, I played hockey, and we lived right by the border of Canada. It was like a 20-minute drive, and we were just, I don't know. We have a great relationship with Canadians. I used to play hockey up there all the time. They used to come here and play against us. We would have tournaments. Thorold, Ontario, we used to go there for a Christmas tournament every year. And sometimes we'd stay there. Sometimes we'd drive up for the games and drive back. But it was always the best when we would stay there. And it would be all over Kitchener, Ontario, like different cities, different towns, playing different teams. And then we'd have friendship teams too. I used to love the Lexi's Christmas tournament in Thorold. That was great. And then I used to enjoy, we used to play a home and home series with this hockey club in Kitchener, and where we would go there and play them, and we would stay with their families. And all the parents would stay at the hotel and party weekend, and they would invite even the parents from the other team to hang out. Party weekend is great. We stayed at this hotel called the Valhalla whenever we got older, but like that was really cool. And then the other thing would happen, the other way would happen too, where when that team would come over, they would stay with our families, and we'd go to the games together, and then their parents would stay at the hotels and party weekend. Great. People do that for softball, they do it for baseball, they do it for all kinds of sports. But we did it with Canada, right? I mean, right across the border. And Buffalo, New York is the only city in all of the NHL cities where they play the U.S. and Canadian anthem before every game. Happens every game. And normally the rule is, because there's players from all around the world that play, right? And the NHL was started in Canada, the original 6 teams, part in the U.S., part in Canada. And the other teams in the NHL only play the Canadian anthem if a team from Canada travels to their city to play them, right? Regardless of who the players are. It's just when the team, like if the Toronto Maple Leafs come to Tampa to play the Lightning, they're going to play both anthems. Otherwise, it's just the U.S. anthem. But Buffalo is the only city in the NHL that plays them for everything. Every game, that's it. Home and home, doesn't matter. Everybody's playing both anthems. So we grew up knowing both anthems. Like, we could sing the Canadian national anthem anyway. So that's all context to say that, hey, I think I know, I got a pretty good feel for folks in Canada, at least when I lived over there. And they're not really interested in the idea generally of the idea of becoming Americans or becoming part of the United States. They are an independent country. They're a sovereign nation. They are not interested in becoming Americans. And by the way, it's such a different culture. And there's so many different cultures in Canada too. And it's really interesting. We have to adjust to so many different things. Not to mention the French from Quebec. You know, like we will have to figure in the law in Canada, in Quebec, they make sure your street signs, your traffic highway sign must be in English and in the French. You have to have it. Every sign has to be in both languages in Quebec. And they do it in some other places too, but it'll say stop. And I believe it's arrêt, but we would always say arrête for the stop signs. It's a different place. The idea of bringing Canada into the fold for us. Now, if that was a conversation that was happening in Canada, but it sounds to me like some crazy crap that our president-elect is talking about. It almost sounds like what Putin was saying about Ukraine, about saying how like, well, no, there's a real strong love for Russia in the eastern Ukraine. They consider themselves Russian. They speak Russian. They're basically Russians. They should be part of it. It sounds like the same conversation. It really does. It sounds like the same conversation. Then the crazy stuff about Greenland and President-elect saying he won't even rule out using military force to take Greenland. I'm like, are you friggin' kidding me? You got to be kidding me. Donald Trump Jr. went to Greenland just yesterday to go and talk with folks over there. He's like, yep, that would be a good spot for my house right there. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, the U.S. can't go on. We cannot go on this imperialistic streak. And if we do, how do you think that's going to work for us? We're the country that's supposed to be defending people's sovereignty when they need help. When somebody else is infringing upon their sovereignty, we're supposed to rush in and help. That's kind of what our thing is, right? Because that's one of the great things about being this democracy. We're supposed to stand up for other folks. And it's a shame that this conversation happened. Now, the thing about Panama, okay, that's different for me. I don't know why we would have given up the Panama Canal in the first place. I know we did, but like all these years later, you can't come back and say, all right, I'm taking it back in. No, you can't. We gave that up. And we did it like 25 years ago. 26 almost, right? It was in 1999, and we gave it to them for $1. Terrible deal, all that other stuff. You can't just go in and say, no, we're taking it back. You can't. You can't. I guess we can, but we can't. We are not going to be making any friends at all by pushing people around like that. I'm not a big fan of doing that. I'm not a big fan of how the look is, but Panama's different, right? Yep, in the middle of it. Good morning. Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Hey, great to see you. Man, I'll tell you, that Alaska thing, Alaska's great. We got Alaska. Alaska's awesome. Alaskans will probably know that Canadians don't want to be Americans. Could you find some? Sure. Sure. You could definitely find some people who would. Overwhelmingly, the answer is no. Do we want to get in a scrap with Canada? Why? You know, it's easy to joke. I mean, I used to joke with them too about like, hey, our Salvation Army can beat Canadian Army. But that's just talking smack, right? Thing is, there's no reason why we would invade Canada. It's the stupidest freaking thing. We have an undefended border because they're our friends. You're not going to do anything stupid like that, right? Right? Come on. And then what's the other one? You don't think that anybody else would be like, hey, you can't do that. You don't think the UK is just going to stand by and say, well, yeah, Canada had it coming. No. That would be a massive rift between us and the UK and us and France. Who benefits from that? Vladimir Putin. He'd be a big fan. Go ahead, Donny boy. You go invade. Go do it. Okay, let's see. No problem. No sweat. Hold on, just no problem. Miss Earth. Apparently, she cannot control the weather. I just got a message from her. She's on her way. She did not control the weather to make this rain stop where she was. But hopefully she's going to be good now. Anyway, yeah, what's the purpose in doing all that stuff? It all just sounds absolutely crazy, right? To me, it sounds nuts. Well, what are you going to do? That's what's happening. So, Keith, that's to answer your questions. Why the crazy questions at the beginning for the post of like, should Canada become the CNMI's fourth senatorial district? Because Trump is he's like, hey, let's make them the 51st state. Oh man, talk about snowflakes. There's a lot of snowflakes up there. Hey, we are no way. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. What would you do? We would do nothing. We would sit here and enjoy the weather and enjoy this place in the world for sure. But I can't imagine how crazy this world would be if all that stuff started happening. It'll be like kind of nuts. All right. Anyway, don't worry about that. Let's worry about this. Let's get the latest updates from the Associated Press. The 8 o'clock update just dropped. So rather than send you the old one, let's get you the latest update from the AP. How about that? Sound like a deal? Okay, ready, break.
AP Sports, I'm Steve Carney. Oklahoma City's franchise record winning streak continues on.
Wait, we're going to do that too. But let me get you the news. We'll do the sports later. That's a long one.
AP News, I'm Mike Hempen. President-elect Trump is trying to halt the Friday sentencing in his hush money case.
Donald Trump is asking the U.S. Supreme Court to halt proceedings in his New York criminal hush money case, including a Friday sentencing, as the president-elect challenges the verdict. George Mason University law professor Ilya Soman.
I think probably it will not succeed.
He says whether it succeeds or not, the judge has signaled he won't inflict any actual penalty on Trump.
This is about, sort of a kind of symbolic issue of like, Trump would continue to be a convicted felon.
The Supreme Court gave Manhattan prosecutors, which brought the hush money case against Trump, until Thursday to file. The president-elect continues to say the case is politically motivated. Julie Walker, New York.
The Justice Department says it will release Special Counsel Jack Smith's findings on Trump's efforts to undo the results of the 2020 presidential election. However, it will keep under wraps for now. The rest of the report focused on the president-elect's hoarding of classified documents. Fierce wildfires are raging in the Los Angeles area, fueled by powerful Santa Ana winds, sending residents fleeing from burning homes through flames, winds, and towering clouds of smoke. This woman says she's glad her sister alerted her to the danger.
My sister called, and she was like, "Are you okay?" And at that moment, a helicopter flew over my house and just dropped water. And I was like, "Oh, it's raining." She's like, "Oh, no, it's not raining. Your neighborhood is on fire. You need to get out."
Thousands of firefighters have been battling at least 3 separate blazes. One of the fires has been the most destructive in the modern history of Los Angeles. Jimmy Carter has been lying in state at the Capitol Rotunda for a second day today, ahead of his state funeral tomorrow at Washington National Cathedral. This is AP News. President Biden is casting doubt on whether he'd have the energy for another term.
President Biden is casting doubt on whether he would have been able to serve another 4 years. In a rare interview with a print publication, the president tells USA Today he could have won re-election, but when asked if he would have had the vigor to handle another term, said, "I don't know." The 82-year-old added, "Who knows what I'm going to be when I'm 86.
Welcome. Thank you very much. And thank you very much.
The president says during their Oval Office meeting after the election, he tried to discourage President-elect Trump from going after political opponents and has not decided whether to issue sweeping pardons to preemptively protect people Trump may target. Sagar Magani, Washington.
I'm Mike Hempen, AP News.
Everything was as easy as 1, 2, 3, but now it's as easy as 4, 5, 6. That's because Paradise Dental has the CNMI's most affordable dental coverage starting at just $4 per paycheck. You heard that right. Just $4 per paycheck for singles, $5 per paycheck for couples, and just $6 per paycheck for family coverage. That'll include Tito, Jermaine, Janet, and LaToya too. Jamone! At Paradise Dental, I love the way they make me feel. So come on down to Paradise Dental today and start smiling back at the man in the mirror. tomorrow or give them a call at 670-235-4040. That's 235-4040. Nobody can beat it.
Oh my gosh, that's washed out. That is so bright. It's like your future. Hold on. All right, I couldn't even look at it. I just had to fix it. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back, Marianas. It is 8:15 in the morning here on Thursday, and we're having a good old time. Talk about all kinds of stuff. And Peeling's going to call us back, so he can call us right now, actually. He was calling like during the commercial, and I didn't want to cut the commercial short. But we're ready for you. Give us a ring. Phone in. Tune in, Tokyo. That's a deep cut. I don't know if kids still do that these days. But that was back in our day. Kind of crazy stuff. All right, welcome back, everybody. It is, here we go. It is Peeling. Here we go. Peeling Gizmo.
Good morning and happy New Year, my brother.
Hey, good morning
and my
to you.
people there in the cinema. I love you all.
Hey, man, we love you. How's it going this morning? What's on your mind?
No, you know about that Congress woman Plaskett?
Yes.
Yeah, the one that's, talking on behalf of our territory.
Yes.
I watched our own delegate, Kimberly,
Mm-hmm.
She makes sense about if we're going to become, if she's allowed to be a part of the voting process there in the U.S. House. But what about because we are Americans, right?
Mm-hmm.
How about not changing anything, but just allowing us to vote for the President of the United States of America? And anything else, just leave it as it is. But we are U.S. citizens, and we deserve to vote for the President of the United States of America. The military is here on our region, and they're a part of protecting America's interests. Like everybody, even Kimberly knows, we are the tip of the spear. Even North Korea, that North Korea leader keeps developing a nuclear missile. Now it's hypersonic. He keeps trying to shoot over Guam and Sinai because the military is here. And we stand alongside to protect America's interests. So somehow we need to get involved and be a part in voting for the President of the United States of America. I cannot say I'm an American, but how much of an American am I, or are we? That I am an American, but I'm not eligible to vote for the President of the United States of America? So that's a big question mark. So if that's the case, that we're gonna vote, but they're gonna take away Article 12.
I think there's a solution to that in what you're saying, and I'll tell you why. So, in the United States, there is a precedent for what you're saying. So basically, you're saying, hey, we don't become a state, and we don't get to vote in the House of Representatives, or we don't have a representative in the Senate, but you're saying at least let us vote for president. So check this out. So right now, this is on USA.gov. But here's the cool thing. It says, no, the electoral process does not provide residents of the U.S. territories, Puerto Rico, Guam, U.S. Virgin Islands, and Northern Marianas, America and Samoa, and the U.S. minor outlying islands to vote for president, unless citizens in the territories have official residency in the United States or the District of Columbia and vote by absentee ballot or travel to their state. They cannot vote for presidential elections. Now, check this part out, though. In 1964, residents of the District of Columbia have been able to vote for president because of the ratification of the 23rd Amendment. So I'm looking at it right here. In fact, I could share this on the screen for you now. But so if by the 23rd Amendment allowed folks in the District of Columbia to vote, even though they don't get voting representation in the House of Representatives, there is an opportunity for us to be able to vote just by that. It seems like it makes sense to me.
Yeah, but okay. For example, if I move to the United States and I stay in Las Vegas and I switch my voting district and I registered to vote in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
So I am eligible because I changed my voting district and I'm a resident of Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. I'm a U.S. citizen. I can vote for the president, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if I
wait.
left,
I
left Las Vegas, I went back to Saipan, and I changed my voting district back to Saipan. After staying for 6 months, and I reestablished myself, I lost the right to vote again for the president, right?
Yes.
So it does not make any sense because if, for example, you're an American, you're born in the United States of America, and you move to the territory. Those American citizens born in the United States of America goes to the territory, they get to vote for local leaders and the President of the United States of America. So, they got to change something and make it equal, make it balanced. We're all Americans. We're all Americans. It's kind of degrading one and upgrading the other, maintaining the status quo of one. So we are all Americans. If an individual born in the United States of America and is an American and he moves to the cinema, he can vote for local leaders and vote for the President of the United States of America as an absentee voter for the President of the United States of America.
Yes.
So that's my point.
No, it's a good point, but when you go to Vegas and you establish your residency there and you can vote for the U.S. president, you lose your ability to vote here in the CNMI.
Yes, but the CNMI allows you to go back home and reestablish yourself.
But just like you could reestablish yourself in the U.S., you have to choose one or the other. That's the main thing. Because and I'm guessing, I'm going to go out and guess on this one, because I don't think they want somebody to be able to establish residency in Wyoming and Colorado and be able to vote in both for the presidential election, right?
Yeah. No. But what I mean is that you can change your voting district. If you go back, I'm still a son of the cinema, and I go back and I want to reestablish myself. So I have to stay there for like 6 months, right, to reestablish myself, so I can vote again and be a registered voter for the cinema. But if I reestablish myself as a registered voter for the cinema, then I cannot vote for the President of the United States of America.
Right.
Cannot.
Well,
So it's kind of unfair, but somehow we need all of us, even in the territories, they have to allow us to vote for the President of the United States of America. Let's not bring our fellow people to the voting poll and vote for a president, and our vote is not counted.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like they're trying to do an experiment, you know?
Yeah.
That we, the territories, voted for Trump, but it's not counted. They just want to see how many of us love who. But it's not counted. No, it's there on our ballot who we choose, Trump or Biden, but it's not counted. That's all I want to share, my brother.
Hey,
no hard feelings. I hope Donald Trump is not listening in because I'm kind of worried. That guy is something. I'm scared he might send special forces.
You know, Peeling, I've been listening to Good Morning Marianas. I want to say the callers are some of the best callers, and I'm not saying it. Everybody's saying it. They're some of the best people. They're saying the Peeling Gazebo, brilliant guys, right minds, really sharp. Maybe my Secretary of Commerce.
Okay. I love you guys. Have a beautiful day.
Hey, we love you too. Thanks for calling in, Peeling. Have a great day. That's Peeling Gazebo. His heart and soul is over here, but he's physically over there in Guam. Hey, so Shella weighed in. She said, hey, it doesn't matter if the CNMI votes in the president for the U.S. The Electoral College is what decides the Electoral College votes depend on the size of the population. The CNMI population isn't large enough to have any level of impact on the Electoral College for president. The largest population states have the largest number of votes. California gets 54 votes. We wouldn't even qualify for one whole vote if the whole of the CNMI was able to vote. Yeah, I get that. You know, and that's another issue. The thing is, like, do we still need the Electoral College? Do we need it? I don't know. It really, that is another topic for debate, for discussion, I should say. Here. So I know why they did this, kind of, because they didn't want, because we're not a true democracy, we're a republic. And that's part of that. Let's see. I want to see if an easy answer to my question is here. I know what it is, but why was it created? I love this. Let's see what history.com has to say about the whole thing. And is there a quick and easy answer about it? Because I know what the conversational piece says. At the time of the Philadelphia Convention, no other country in the world directly elected its chief executive. So the delegates were wading into uncharted territory. Further complicating the task was deep-rooted distrust of executive power. After all, the fledgling nation had just fought its way out of under a tyrannical king and overreaching, blah, blah. They didn't want another despot on their hands. One group of delegates felt strongly that Congress shouldn't have anything to do with picking the president, too much opportunity for chummy corruption and the executive level branches. Anyway, so they get in there. Oh, geez, then it went into slavery and all that other stuff. Basically, it was it's not a popularity contest. There's all that other stuff in there too. That's the simple way of putting it. Hold on one second. Will they keep? Yeah, that's a good question. U.S.-born Americans born in the 70s and 80s are taking office now. Will they keep that antiquated electoral college going? Yeah, it's up to the next generation. I'm with you. I agree with you. I don't know if we need it anymore. I don't know if we need it. It says the Electoral College is a process, not a place. The Founding Fathers established it in the Constitution in part as a compromise between the election of the president by a vote in Congress and the election of the president by a popular vote of qualified citizens. They basically didn't want to leave it up to the poor, right? They wanted to get all the votes from everybody and then make their decisions together in the Electoral Congress, right? Or the Electoral College. That's pretty much how it went. And they have electors, and the electors, they could cast their ballots and that don't follow what the votes went in the states, and it would be awful if that kind of stuff happened today. But yeah, you can definitely say that we could probably get rid of the Electoral College, but that's for me. I haven't heard anyone eloquently explain why we should keep it. That's certain. But I could definitely deal without the Electoral College process. We don't need the state electors and all that other stuff. So, but it's a good question, a good topic for discussion, and a good topic for debate too. Clearly, I mean, I could definitely see why the benefits of being a part closer to the U.S. system and being where we are right now. Right now is great because we don't have to pay federal taxes. I love that. That's the best part. We don't have to pay federal taxes. That's one thing we do not have. Like, it's cheaper to live here than Guam for that respect alone. If we had a bigger shipping base and all that other stuff, if we had actual exports and we had like a bigger everything, it's better to live here than Guam because you don't have to pay as much in taxes. You get to keep more of the money that you make. So I don't know. It's something to think about. Do you want to pay more taxes? Do you want to be, and she's right. So, I mean, because based on the rules for a member of the U.S. House of Representatives, we have a delegate and then there's representatives. A delegate can't vote. The representatives can vote. Like even D.C., the District of Columbia, the representatives from there, representative, singular, can't vote in the House, right? But the people who live in the District of Columbia can vote for president based on what we talked about, the 23rd Amendment. And if that's possible, then there's got to be room for folks who live in the territories to be able to do that because there's already precedent there. That's it. That's it. It says, this amendment would change the Constitution only to the minimum extent necessary to give the district appropriate participation in national elections. It would not make the District of Columbia a state. Here, you guys can look at this. It would not give the District of Columbia any other attributes of a state or change the constitutional powers of the Congress to legislate with respect to the District of Columbia and prescribe its form of government. It would, however, perpetuate recognition of the unique status of the district as the seat of federal government under the executive legislative control of Congress. So, I mean, that's it. The 23rd Amendment, it's there, and we could post that on there. I'm not advocating that we do it, but to your point, Peeling, you're looking for a compromise that, hey, fine, they don't have to make us a state, but at least let us vote. Well, here, you can now. If you can ride on the coattails of the 23rd Amendment. And that's it. It's all about being able to vote for president. But you got a good point too, Shella. A good point about saying, hey, wouldn't matter because we don't have enough people with the Electoral College. Yeah. But I think we'd get more recognition. Ooh, who's going to get the big vote? Let's find out, by the way. Electoral College vote numbers. Because I want to see who's got what. Let's do that. Join me, if you will. All right. Well, I don't want to see who voted for what. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I just want to know who's got what. So, let's see. That's to find out who voted for who, for president and vice president and all that stuff. I don't really care about that necessarily. That's water under the bridge. Okay. Votes per state. That's what I should have just done. There we go. And hopefully it'll give me the perfect one here. Just don't tell me. It's literally the same page that it took me to. All right, well, here, this works. It's still the same thing. Category on the left. Number of electoral votes for each state. Alabama gets 9. Alaska gets 3. Is there anyone who gets fewer than 3? I think 3 is the basement, the floor. So Wyoming gets 3. Vermont gets 3. South Dakota gets 3. North Dakota gets 3. See, they have to be even Dakotas. District of Columbia gets 3. Delaware gets 3. And Alaska gets 3. And fun fact, West Virginia getting 4 electoral votes. That's 1 electoral vote based on the amount of teeth. Sorry, West Virginians. The toothbrush was invented in West Virginia. And if it would have been invented anywhere else, it would have been called the teeth brush. All right. That's picking on West Virginia time. I think we can wrap with that one. But anyway, so that's what's going on there. All right. That's our little roll through the Electoral College this morning, and a little bit of a history lesson, I guess. But let's go for more about history and go with a regular feature that we have on the show from the Associated Press called Today in History.
But as president, I must put the interests of America first.
January 9th, 1913. President Richard Nixon is born in Yorba Linda, California. Nixon oversaw Cold War détente with the Soviet Union and China while winding down the Vietnam War. But he became the only president to ever resign, facing likely impeachment over the Watergate scandal. 1972. Reclusive billionaire Howard Hughes, speaking by phone from the Bahamas to reporters in Hollywood, says a purported biography of him is a fake. 1968. Surveyor 7, America's last unmanned probe of the moon, lands on the lunar surface. The following year, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin make history as the first humans to set foot on the moon. And 2006. In New York, the Phantom of the Opera leaps past Cats to become the longest-running show in Broadway history. Today in History, January 9th. Sandy Kozel, The Associated Press.
To be up 3-0. I'll tell you that. It probably is not great to be down. I'm Brad Rosala, and I'm the owner for Commonwealth Communications.
And I am Jojo Alipuzu. I am the owner of Island Image and Motion.
And this is our joint venture, Sideline Studios. This whole concept that we have of doing all these live stream productions and covering news and doing live shows and everything, it wouldn't happen if we didn't have a great partner like IT&E, someone who can handle the bandwidth and provide it and then get us what we need when we need it, and then be a real partner for us for all the events, whether we're doing live sporting events, broadcasts. All of these things happen because of our partnership with IT&E.
With IT&E providing us with the fiber and point-to-point and even the MBRs, is just a great piece of equipment to use when we're broadcasting our sports, our events, our performances, especially our cultural performances. And it's just great to share our culture here in the Marianas with the world. And IT&E has been there from the get-go.
The thing I like best about working with IT&E is how willing they are to come out and find a solution. Even for Liberation Day, we thought we had a pretty good solution for our live stream setup, and it turns out that we did not have the right setup that we thought we needed. That day, just before the parade, reached out to Paul and said, here's our situation. What do you think? He's like, we're gonna figure this out. While he's sitting there barbecuing, getting ready for the parade to start, he starts burning up the phone lines, calling everybody in IT&E, what can we do, what's the right solution? They left their families to do this stuff and get us the equipment that we needed to broadcast live. That's over and above. That's on a holiday. That's when he was out there spending time with his family.
That's why IT&E is just the best, just really in touch with the people and the community.
I recommend IT&E to everybody. Tell them the options are there, and you can choose whoever you want and then figure out what you think is the best. But when you're ready, when you're tired of having your
call's disconnected or not having service, then you reach out to the guys from IT&E.
For every generation, it has started with the call to serve. Discovering the purpose and the belonging earned with the title. Learning to dig deep and push through adversity together. Defending our nation and its people. It is a life of great worth and reward. But Marines are never really finished serving. Their commitment comes full circle, visible in communities across our country. This is Semper Fidelis, always faithful, always Marine, marking a path for the next generation.
All right, welcome back, St. Amai. It is 8:40 in the morning, and it is an interesting weather day out there. We already showed you what it looks like outside. It's a little drizzly. It's a little wet out there. It's 81 degrees outside. Humidity's at 84% of the Saipan International Airport. And it's going to be kind of like this all day today. Partly sunny skies with a high near 87. Winds out of the east, 11 to 14 miles an hour. Just enough to take a little bit of the edge off, so don't worry about that too much. But we went for kind of like a little bit of a serious conversation there, talking about voting and all that other stuff. This is going to be way more important than any of that stuff, because we have essentially our national ambassador to the entire planet. She's with us in here today. It is Miss Heavenly Pangilinan. She is Miss Earth, Northern Marianas, and we couldn't be happier than to have you in studio with us today. Thanks so much for being here.
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. This will be my very first time on any talk show, right? Good morning talk show.
Are you serious?
Yes,
How is that possible?
Time. So I'm a little nervous, but I'm very excited. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's great. We're so glad to have you in studio with us today. And you know what? I pay attention to these things a little bit. I would not go out so far to say, like, I follow all the pageants and I know, like, ooh, who's running this year? I don't know all of that stuff. My daughter might. I definitely don't. But you do a lot of cool things. I love that you're getting out there and you're trying to get more activity going in the community. You have a fashion show coming up.
So I do. I have an upcoming fashion show. This is to promote sustainability and recycling and reusing for the most part. I want to get a message out that you really don't have to do much to recycle, and it doesn't take so much of a lifestyle change, because I think sometimes when you're so used to a certain lifestyle, it's hard. It can get exhausting. Even just thinking of starting to change your habits. And I want to get the message that it's really very simple, and it can make such a big difference even with small, tiny changes. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm blown away also by the size of this tiara. It is massive. How does that happen? Do they give it to you on stage when you win, and then it's like, do you have a special case that you keep it in?
A lot of people
do you have
say
security?
That, and I also was freaking out because I was like, that's going on my head. But I do keep it in a glass. We have a glass cabinet, so every time I go home, I just keep it in there because, it's very sensitive. Like, it can bend really easily. So even when I'm driving in the car, I just keep it on the seat next to me because I don't want to ruin it or anything. But yeah, a lot of people say that, and I also was freaking out at the size. But
I can't imagine that you'd be able to drive with it on anyway. Like, you'd have to have a convertible. A convertible
yeah,
you'd have to have.
Yeah, it's definitely going to scratch stuff.
Yeah, and then you're going to blind everybody on a sunny day because it's going to be twinkling all over.
I really like it, though. It's kind of heavy, but it's really honoring.
Just as heavy as the responsibilities of being this.
Exactly. Exactly. It's a visual representation.
All right. So tell us a little bit about you and where you're from, where'd you go to school, all that stuff.
Okay. So my name is Heavenly Pangilinan. I'm a 19-year-old student and teacher aide. I'm a substitute teacher aide at San Vicente. I graduated when I was 16 in 2022 from Marianas High School, but I didn't grow up here. So I actually grew up I kind of moved around a lot, really, because my dad's a veteran. So I always moved around. I grew up mostly in Hawaii, and then I went to Georgia, finished most of my high school there, and then my last year we moved here because my dad was retiring, and he was like, I want my kids to feel our culture, and because, my parents grew up here also, and they really wanted to help us get to know our roots, because they definitely are cultured, but we don't get the full experience in the States because it's just us, know. Whereas here we have all our family everywhere, grandpa and grandma. So we relocated here, and then once I graduated, I went to NMC for a semester, and then I transferred to Western Governors University. I've been there since 2022 also, and I actually, it's so funny because I'm majoring in business administration. It's totally different from my advocacy and also my job because I work in the SPED department. But I just have a really personal tie to special education, but it's not my major. And then I just also took this reign, not because I'm so educated in environmental science or sustainability. It's just that I felt like this was my chance and my opportunity to give back to my community. As I haven't lived here too long. I think I moved here 2021. And so I felt like this was a way to really get in touch with my culture and my roots and give back to my community because I haven't had as much experience as other people have growing up here.
So you mentioned all those places that you mentioned that you grew up, and you said your dad's a veteran, so I'm going to guess Army.
Yes.
All right, just because I'm thinking of all those states and all those places. All right, that sounds Army. I'm an Army vet, and so yeah. So do you know what your dad's job was in the Army?
He was an engineer.
Oh, so he did cool stuff.
Cool stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. Who are your parents?
My parents are Sherry and Dominic Pangilinan. Do you know where Aston's Fish Market is?
I do, up here in San Vicente.
So Aston is my dad's mom, so that's my grandma's side, and then my grandpa is from Maslito. My mom's side, they're from Maslito. And they worked in PSS for a while, so I guess that's also a little part of my job now.
That's great. So the Canaries fly high. Ooh,
yes,
San Vicente.
I am a substitute teacher aide at San Vicente Elementary School SPED department. Sorry, and I have a lot of personal experience because I have a younger brother. He has Down syndrome and autism, and he's also deaf. So I sign as well, and that's actually how I met your wife.
Oh, that's awesome.
Kathy. I just saw her yesterday. It's so funny. But so she was also encouraging me to be a speech pathologist, I think because she thought I was majoring in education. I was like, oh, I'm actually a business major. And everyone freaks out when I tell them that because they're like, oh, you're into environmental and then you work in SPED, but your major is totally different. But I have just a wide range of goals. So
well, being able to sign is a massive advantage, especially when you're getting into the business world. But let me ask you about that. Have you had any experiences, not just here but anywhere, where signing really helped you? Clearly at home, right?
Yes, definitely at home. It breaks the language barrier. My brother and I are only a year apart, so as I grew up with him, we kind of learned at the same pace, and just starting from a young age, it really helped me see the world differently, just having that communication barrier. And I think it also gives me more of an open mind when it comes to interacting with people with physical and mental disabilities. It's a huge topic that I keep close to my heart because especially in Saipan, it used to be really taboo for the special education and people with physical and mental disabilities. And it's just a message that I want to put out there that even if you don't have anyone personal to you or close to you that you would interact with, it's still nice to have that ability to be able to talk to them or not even learning how to sign, but just also being able to interact with them and keep the same respect that you would with people who aren't disabled.
So when we ended up, our kids don't have hearing; they're not hearing impaired, but we did teach them sign language. To communicate with them before they could talk. There's these videos called Baby Signing Time, right? And so we would do that, and so we would do that. And when we were out and traveling, people would come up to us. Like there was just, I remember this one beautiful interaction. There was this Japanese couple that came up to us while we were traveling, and they're hearing impaired, and they started signing to Kathy. They're like, oh, is he deaf too? And it was just beautiful. Just like, wow, there's another way to communicate. Right. They reached out just because they knew that they would be able to communicate with somebody instead of being cut off from them.
Yes, and that's amazing that you also have given your children the opportunity to be able to interact. Like I said, I'm sure it means so much to people with physical or mental disabilities when people go out of their way to communicate with them, even if they can't, speak in English or verbally. A lot of the mentally and physically disabled are nonverbal, so it makes a big difference. And a lot of the times, I think that it's so easy to look the other way and think that it might be, their family's problem, but it is making a huge difference every time somebody interacts with them, even just a wave or just a smile, because even if they can't say it out loud or show it, they definitely feel it, so.
Well, especially growing up with your brother, you got to know, like all those nonverbal cues and all that.
Yes.
And so growing up with him and learning sign language at the same time, do you guys have your own little codes too?
We do. It's so funny because my partner and him have this insane handshake, and he refuses to do it with anyone else because there's a little dance in it. If I try to do it with him, anyone tries to do it with him, he won't do it. It's strictly between him and my partner. And we have our little gesture. We just have, I think he has a handshake with everyone, but we don't really have a handshake. It's just more like a little gesture between us. And he is nonverbal, and he is a little bit nonchalant at times, but his personality is really there. If you're close to him, he'll show it, and he's a character, so it's awesome.
What's your brother's name?
His name is Isaiah Pangilinan. He goes to Marianas High School. Yeah,
oh,
he goes
awesome.
to MHS. He's supposed to graduate this year, so hopefully. He's turning 18.
Wow.
So, he's turning 18, and he is really smart. He's just a little shy.
Well, Isaiah, hopefully we get to meet you sometime.
Yes, I've learned so much growing up with him, and I think that being able to understand somebody with a mental or physical disability is just a big opportunity for somebody to see the world completely different, or not different, but in a more open way. Yeah.
All right, now let's talk how you get to become Miss Northern Marianas Earth.
Okay, so it's so funny because once I moved here, I've been applying. I think I tried to apply when I was 16, and then I was 17, and then they never took me because I wasn't 18, and they were like, you have to wait till you're 18. So I kept I didn't care when I was 16. I was like, I'm still going to do it next year, just in case. Like, I was like, maybe they'll bend it. You never know, because I graduated early. So I was like, maybe they just want an adult, but I have a diploma. It's fine. They never bent the rules. They actually called me when I was 8. They waited till I was 18. And it's so funny because by the time I was 18, I wasn't going to apply. I was not really into it. I wasn't into pageantry or anything like that. When I was 16, it was a huge goal of mine. I was like, oh, I want to be Miss Sinamay, and I just had a really strong motivation to be in the pageant. And so 16 and 17, I was very determined. By the time I was 18, I was so into my job and finishing school, it wasn't really on my mind. And then the director called me. Her name's Miss Diane Clayton. She called me and she was like, so do you still want to apply? We're opening the applications for 2024. And I was like a little bit sketchy about it, because I was like, not so much into it how I used to be, and I don't want to join something that I won't have my full effort into. And then I just wanted to, I was like, what would my 16-year-old self say? Like, I was so eager to join, and so I'm
so disappointed in you.
Yeah, I was like, well, I would be taking that away from my 16-year-old self, and I decided that sure, why not? So I went for it, and they didn't host a pageant because there was only like 5 candidates. So they went on to appointing, and I had to do an interview, and with further evaluation, I think after like 2 months, they called me and they were like, you're gonna be crowned. And I was like, wow, that's so exciting. Not knowing how much responsibility was going to come with it. And I'm so happy that I did it. I'm learning so much, even though I do have a lot going on. I'm a full-time student. I also work full-time. But I know that one day I'm going to look back and be really grateful that I tried it, even though sometimes it can be overwhelming, or I have to push through certain tasks. I think that it's really rewarding at the end of the day, and I'm so grateful.
Responsibilities. We were trying to schedule this. It was around like getting a day off was even difficult, right?
Yes.
So now that you're doing it, like let's walk through like what are some of those things that you have to do, some of the responsibilities that you have when you have something like this?
Well, starting off, and let's just add to being a full-time student and full-time working, and also never putting these behind one another. So I have that going on, and then on top of that, when I was training for the pageant in the beginning, I think, when did I go? I left October 22nd. I came back November 9th. So I was there for almost, how long is that? It's so long. I don't even know how many.
Wait, there's training you have to go for?
I trained for 2 months before that. It was the worst because I couldn't eat rice. And it was so hard. The diet was so hard for me that I don't even think I reached my goal. Because the pageant does have like a strict waistline measurement, like the requirements. And I totally didn't follow it, but it's fine. And by the time I went, I was able to walk in heels, and I was able to have my posture up, walk correctly. And that was one of the hardest parts for me, was just adjusting, because going into my reign, I kind of was only thinking about the community work and the environmental part of it. I wasn't too concerned about the actual international pageant. And when they were telling me, I was like, oh, it didn't cross my mind when I was taking the reign. I was like, oh, I can do all these projects. I have all these ideas for promoting sustainability. It totally didn't cross my mind that I have to learn how to do my hair, be able to do my makeup in the morning at 6 in the morning, wake up and, do everything. And then also at the same time, learn how to keep your posture up. It's very strict. I'm really grateful that in my island, not everyone like nitpicks at what I do. And it's great because in the Philippines, people will take pictures of you and post it all over, because they're really big on pageantry. They're huge, and they take it very seriously. So even if they see you slouch a little bit, or if you're holding a plastic bottle, they will slash you all over Facebook if you're
wow.
Yeah, like they take it really seriously, which kudos to them. Thanks for my island for having a little grace on me. So that part, I think, was the most challenging task that I had to do, because I was changing so many aspects of myself. I think in a physical way, really. In like emotionally and mentally, I really loved all of the press conferences and the interviews. I think I was great with that. The posture and the physical appearance was my hardest task to adjust to, just because I've always been comfortable in my natural skin. I wasn't so into fixing myself. That sounds bad, but I can fix myself without having like overdoing it. And in the pageant, you need to be overdone, to be seen, and it's a big requirement to be able to do your hair and makeup. And so that was hard for me because I wasn't used to it. And going further, when I came back from the pageant, just having, I guess I wouldn't say the tasks itself are too hard, but I think just juggling it all, because like I said, I am a full-time student, and I do work full-time, and then having this reign, and then also being so young and still trying to have a personal life and trying to have fun at 19, it's so hard, but I'm pushing through it, and I think I'm learning. So I think the time management probably has to be the most hardest part with it so far in my reign. That's what I've experienced. But yeah, just coming up with my projects have been great. Not too hard, because I have so many ideas that I just want to get out there before my reign ends. And then another thing would be being responsible for the following pageant. I'm trying to recruit a bunch of girls, because the Miss Earth organization actually hasn't been doing pageants. I think they've been appointing for the last 2 or 3 years, just because they never have enough candidates. And so this year I'm like, no, I really want to have a big pageant, because I experienced it myself, and I think it would be great to have one here and have something big, because also for our pageant, I think that it's not as known, or it is known, but it's not so popular to where people are thinking, I want to join, and they're so eager to get into it, because it's not the national one, it's a Miss Earth pageant, and it is still a big pageant. But I think that if the CNMI started to look at it more as an environmental nonprofit instead of just a pageant, I think that a lot of people would be more eager to join because so many of us are into protecting our island, preserving our culture. And so I think if I could keep pushing out the message that the nonprofit is something more of just pageantry and fashion, I think that people will want to gravitate to it more. And as the message goes out, I hope that there will be more candidates to want to join the pageant. Because for our island especially, we're so small. If we keep seeing it as just a pageant, we won't be able to, I think that we won't be able to have, what am I trying to say? I think that we won't be able to use it to our advantage because it is another resource to be able to help out with community outreach and just a lot of things that you wouldn't expect from a pageant when you think pageant, you know what I mean? But our director and I myself also, and I think also the previous queens were super into sustainability, and I think that needs to be the bigger picture more than just Miss Northern Marianas. It needs to be, she's also an environmental advocate, you know? And so I think people will want to gravitate more to it if they see that image more than just, you know, fashion and looks. And so that's another responsibility of mine, is just getting candidates, but I also want to put out the right message before I do the cast calling. So. Which
is great. So I mean, like, 'cause you're definitely changing my thoughts on it too. Just like the idea that there's a lot more to it about that sustainability and all that. Right. So what would you say to, like, your 16-year-old self was already in? You're like, I want to do this and all that.
But I was so dedicated.
But what would you say to somebody, to some other young women who are thinking about maybe they haven't thought about it? Like, how do you reach them?
Well, I have done some convincing because it does sound really scary, and I too have been very timid. I've been very shy on the physical aspect because, you know, you're putting yourself out there for everyone to look at you and for everyone to evaluate you. But something I admire about our islands is that we aren't too set on the looks. You know, we always check on the personality. And so I would always tell them it's really not about looks or fashion. If you can put on your knowledge and showcase that you are into protecting our island and you want to preserve our culture and, you know, keep preserving our resources, then you're fine. As long as you really do have a passion for it, that's all you need. I don't think it's too much really about looks. I can't say the same for the other pageants because they do have really strict requirements. I saw it in real time. But our islands are completely different. We have such a big understanding for personality and just, I think what they would want to see is the knowledge and what can you do for our island that you're holding this title. It's not, do you look the best, or does she look nice enough to be, you know, representing our islands? It's really not like that. So I usually just say that if you're comfortable speaking and if you're comfortable wanting to talk to other people about the knowledge you have, and then you would be great. It doesn't mean that because it's a pageant you have to look the best or you have to be nervous about people staring at you all the time. Because I had that thought. I was like, oh my gosh, when I don't, but honestly, no one cares. Like, as long as no one cares, no one's looking at how straight your hair is, no one's looking at how, if your eyebrows are matching, it's not like that at all. It's a completely different experience. And going through it, usually when I interact with people, all they want to know is my advocacy. They want to know why I joined. They don't want to know like what I had to do to look nice for the pageant.
You said something I never would have ever considered, like, are my eyebrows matching?
No, yeah.
My eyebrows are just there. I don't think about them.
Yeah, but for a young girl, it's definitely something in their mind, which I can understand because I also experienced it. So I usually just let them know that what you actually need and not what you would think you need, you know? So yeah, that's what I would say.
I think the only thing you need to worry about your eyebrows is that they're plural, not singular. That's it. And you're going to be fine.
Yes.
All right. So you've got this big event that's coming up, and this is going to be on February 8th. So can you tell us about it?
So it's going to be February 8th from 6 to 9 p.m. It's still in the works. I haven't posted a flyer or distributed tickets yet. I think tickets will be distributed on Friday, but I'm going to push it out in the newspaper.
Like tomorrow, Friday?
I think so. I'm hoping. I just have to clear with my director, but For the most part, we have the date and time secured. The venue is still in the works. We're looking at a hotel venue, and we're just finalizing that, and then I'll be posting the flyer. But we do have a judge panel. We do have a confirmed team of models, and then we do have a confirmed production team and a confirmed photographer. So
Wow.
it's definitely all in the works. I think just finishing up the last touches, and then I'll be able to push out the tickets and flyer. So we're going to be selling 2 types of tickets. It's going to be front row tickets for $35 and then remaining seats for $25. And then we're going to have food vendors and then a photo booth. There's going to be a rotating photo booth. Have you seen those rotating?
Yes, they're so cool.
We're going to have that because I think those are so fun and memorable to have at an event. And I'm hoping people will enjoy the show. I know it's a new kind of, we haven't really had a fashion show yet, but I'm really excited, and I think it'll have a great impact, seeing as it's not just about, once again, fashion, but giving the message that it is reusable fashion, it's sustainable, it's eco-friendly. We reached out to a bunch of IG thrift shops, which are really popular right now. Instagram thrift shops, everyone makes their own account, and then they sell their stuff all over it, and everyone buys from each other. It's really popular right now.
Wow, so that's very cool.
Yes,
So
and, sorry.
No, I was saying, so where do you find, is there like a spot that you find, or is there a hashtag that people use so you could tell that that's where the thrift shop is?
For Instagram thrift shops in the Cinemai, I think.
You just got to know, right?
Well, when I first got into mine, I just asked 2 of my friends how they started theirs, and is there an aesthetic that you need to follow, and they were like, no, just post your stuff, post the price, just add a bunch of people, because I think so many girls also, and some adults also, they all sell. It's kind of like Facebook Marketplace, basically, but for Instagram. And everyone has so many mutuals, so you kind of just add each other's mutuals, and then it's just a huge community. So it's awesome. And then there's a bunch of thrift shops that I asked here and then also in Guam, just to see if there could be a wide range of clothes for donations, because we do have categories. So there is a business category, a fitness category, and a casual category, a local category, and then gowns. Gowns will be for the awards presentation.
Wow.
But the categories is just to show that there's something for everybody. You know, if you need clothes for your job, if you need clothes for when you're going to the gym, you don't have to go out of your way and order a bunch of fast fashion or newly manufactured clothes. Sustainable and secondhand is just as awesome, and it can be a little bit taboo because I know some people aren't very open to using somebody else's clothes that they used to use before. But if you keep an open mind and you have a washer, it's totally fine. And I just want to kind of normalize it more for our islands. And the whole reason that I'm fundraising in this event is to also continue these recycling advocacy workshops within Tinian and Rota.
Wow.
Yeah, so that is what I'm trying to do with the funds, because this would be my project for Saipan, to try to convince the public with eco-fashion, and then I will want to further it to Tinian and Rota so that they can also be a part of us, because I think that in the Northern Marianas, even though I've only lived on Saipan, I do also want to play my part on the other islands as well, because they are just as much a part of them as part of the islands as our island.
I think you need a sustainable sash that will stay on your shoulder. Is there a technique or a secret that you what the miss whatever what I call
to keep it stuck on them?
Yes, yeah.
They use a pin and they
Okay.
pin it to their clothes. I actually have a sustainable fabric sash that says Northern Marianas, but I didn't wear it today because I was in a rush, and I grabbed this one out of the glass cabinet. I have 3 sashes actually.
Wow.
So there's one from the international pageant, which is sustainable fabric, and then there's this one, and then one from my coronation. So there's a lot, and I should have wore the other one. But basically they just take a pin and they pin it to their shirt under it so you can't see, and then it stays there.
Nice. So there is a solution to it. I should dig up an old photo. See if I could do it really quick while we're here. You will find out.
Oh, this is a surprise.
Let's see. Wait, hold on. Let's find out. It'll be ridiculous if I could find this really fast. And it will be hilarious if I could find it really fast.
I want to know. I hope you find it now because the anticipation is
It's
making me want to see it really
It's
fast.
pretty massive. It's pretty massive. I know it's going to be under albums. Let's find out. It's appropriate for what we're talking about. I don't know if it's profile pictures. Let's find out. It very well may be.
I love how it popped in your head.
Oh, it did. I didn't think about it till like just now. Hold on. All right, I'm gonna do before we go. I got to do this.
I really want to know.
All right. It's I think I'm over. It's the anticipation is too big. Well, because I'm looking on Facebook as one of those albums.
It's faster to scroll on the screen.
Yeah, because this is not like this is the NMI News Service page, right?
Yeah.
I can't get the same options going on there too, right?
Personal settings.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
You have an awesome setup, by the way. This is so cool.
Thanks. Appreciate it. So let's see. I don't think it's one of the profile pictures because it just showed up. But this is random, goofy stuff that happened to me. And I think it was year 2004 or 2005.
Oh I wasn't even born yet.
I know.
Oh, I was born in 2005, actually. So.
So you might have been alive.
No, but I was born in December. So I'm the very edge of the year.
Well, I don't remember what time of year this was. Let's see. Hold on. I'm scrolling back. Oh, come on. I really wanted to get this. Or I think this is where it's going to be, though. I'm in the right folder. If it's going to be anywhere, it's going to be in this folder.
I love that.
But this is such a big setup. It's going to be such a letdown. Here it is.
I was going to say, you need to describe it or something.
Okay, so I'm going to save it to my phone, and then I'm going to WhatsApp it to myself, and this is how we get it to the screen here, right?
I was going to say, if you couldn't find it, I need a full description, very detailed description.
And what I'll do, hold on, I'll share it with everybody who's watching too, so they can watch it as well.
Awesome.
Hold on, it's so lame. All right, let's mix this up. So I know what it's like to wear a sash. Hold on. Because in 2004, I think, this is it. This is me. That was in the Tan Holdings Olympics. I was Mr. Brown because we were all the teams were different colors. This is really outstanding stuff that we might have lost all of our viewers now because of this here.
That is so funny.
And walking next to me is Mrs. Brown. And it was hilarious. So our theme for our team was like the ancient Rome and all that stuff. So that's what they made for me. It is so lame, but it's enough to make you laugh.
I've never seen anything like it, but I mean, it's awesome.
That's Garapan. That's walking out in front. Back then, it was. I think that was when it was Daiichi, even before it was Fiesta. And they made this little cloth thing for me. You could see it's the most sheer thing ever, too, right? And so I had to make something to go underneath it because I didn't want to just walk around wearing regular underwear, so it would look really funny. So anyway, that is my experience.
I thought that was for Halloween.
It was. You would think, right? So that was the whole thing. Look, we got cheerleaders and everything.
Yes, you have a whole team behind you.
Oh well, I mean, it's the Brown team.
Yeah.
You need to have the whole team with you. So there you go. I don't know what we did. I do remember the sash falling off all the time. So that is how I can.
Worst. It's so often though that I'm so used to it at this point.
Oh my God.
Take it off.
Yep. I'm pretty sure that was 2005. So
Were you doing the show at that time?
No. So at that time, that was again the Tan Holdings contest, right? So I was working for Tan Holdings. I was working for Saipan Tribune as a reporter.
Oh, wow.
And so they're like, "Hey, you want to do the Tan Holdings Olympics?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. Okay, we'll give you all the details." Yeah. And so now I'm Mr. Brown. We had a karaoke. I have a trophy at my house for taking 4th runner-up. They came up with they went really down. No, we won for Mr. Brown, but for the karaoke part, or not karaoke, the singing contest, I was 4th runner-up for Tan Holdings Idol. There was a whole lot of Tan Holdings stuff going on.
A good thing you mentioned the trophies, by the way, because our fashion show, is holding awards and prizes too. If that makes anyone want to join.
Ooh. All right. So how do they get involved? How do they become a participant in this?
They would just have to reach out to me. It can be by phone number or email. You can find it in the newspaper. I have a personal email, but I think it's best to use the Miss Earth email. So.
So use the stuff that's in the paper. Miss Earth Northern Marianas at gmail.com.
Yes, they could reach out to me there. I'm the only person in the email, so it would be awesome if anybody who wants to model or wants to donate clothes could reach out to me. And they have a chance of winning in 4 categories. So you have 4 chances, and the awards are pretty nice. The prizes are great, and we also have a huge raffle. I think I forgot to mention that. We're gonna have a huge raffle for the event as well, so that's really exciting, and there's some great prizes in there. I think there's going to be a flyer announcing the prizes. I want to announce the models and the judge panel and the prizes, but they're really awesome. As for the company or designer prizes, it's a $100 cash prize and a trophy.
Ooh.
And then for the models, they will get an award certificate and the prize. So there's like a Regal gift card, Jolton gift card, there's a spa package. So and there's 7, I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's 7 or 9 awards. So you guys you guys have a chance, and the award ceremony is in the show, so you don't have to wait to see who won or anything.
There's a ton of stuff going on for this event. So now, do you have like an IG page for Miss Northern Marianas Earth?
Yes, it is Miss Earth Northern Marianas. That's it. That's the IG page. And then on Facebook, it's the same thing, Miss Earth Northern Marianas. And you can find all the updates there. I think we'll be going to I hope it's tomorrow. Let me just say that. I hope it's tomorrow. It should be. And then for ticket selling, the distribution should be tomorrow as well. And you can purchase from me or any of the models. And I'll post that as well.
Oh, there it is. I found your IG. Now I will follow. Ching. And there we go. And hopefully, so everyone's going to have and there's your Facebook page right here. So let's make sure we follow all this stuff.
I actually don't have access to those accounts, but I know I will forward the flyers as soon as they're available. For contact, I would suggest just email or phone number. If it's to the social media pages, I actually won't be able to see it. So definitely email or phone number would be great for contact. But for updates, definitely check social media.
Oh my God, is this you?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh my God, all right, you are so much taller than them. Oh my God, Arlene, how big are your heels?
It's the heels. I think they're like 4 or 5 inches.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's insane. And I'm already 5'5", so
it
really bumps me up.
There you look yes, exactly. I'm like, holy cow. Well, that's Arlene Regis right there. Yes. I'm like, such a difference. Oh my God, today's awesome. Thanks so much for coming in and telling us about all this.
Yeah, it was this is a great experience for me, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to push out my event. I'm really excited.
Anybody you want to recognize, say thanks to, or shout out to?
Thank you to my parents for giving birth to me and helping me be able to be on here and guiding me. And then thank you to Mr. Brad for having me, and also my Grandpa Joe, because every time I have stage fright, I always call him, caught up in the car, and he will always give me great advice before I go out so that my nerves are calm.
Nice. Yeah, so I was a long time ago, like when I was on KSPN, I reached out to the anchor for my hometown news, and I asked him, do you have any advice, and everything. He's like, first of all, good luck, but remember, always be calm, composed, and remember you are the anchor.
Yes.
And that carry you through every time.
Yes. I usually just need a final piece of thought before I come in somewhere, because the next day or the night before, I'd be like, yeah, it's fine. I'll, go with the flow tomorrow. And then when I'm about to go, I'm like, oh gosh, I just need a little push. So yeah, my grandpa always knows what to say.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming in here today. Piling said that he's like, hey, that's my beautiful niece, Heavenly.
Aww,
so he's over there in Guam.
Wow.
Well, thanks again so much for coming in. And hopefully you keep us in the loop with everything else that's happening when you get people that start registering and when you have the event, and let us know all the stuff like who's winning and all that stuff.
Definitely. Thank you so much again, Mr. Brad, for having me.
All right, thank you. All right, well, we are going to go ahead and take a real quick break as soon as I can find the right button over here. There it is. Woo. Hey. All right, guys. So thanks. We're going to take a real quick break. When we come back, we'll get to a couple more of the local headlines, get you all caught up with everything that's happening on the Associated Press and more. So I want to say thanks for you guys for sticking around. And thanks to our guest, Miss Earth. She is here. The whole planet. She's guaranteeing us good weather today just for this, because that's one of the things that are her responsibilities under her reign. All right. Hey, thank you, guys. We'll see you with more after we come back.
Franchise record winning streak continues on. Correspondent Mike Moriarty has the report.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander poured in 33 points as the Oklahoma City Thunder extended their winning streak to 14 in a row, knocking down the Knicks 117-107.
We have so many different looks. We have so many different lineups. And we all just want to win at the end of the day. Nothing comes before that. And that's why we are on this roll.
OKC trailed by 8 points after the third quarter, but then outscored New York 37-19 in the fourth. Jalen Williams had 20 points, while Aaron Wiggins added 19 for the Thunder, who improved their home record to 16-2 on the season. Mikal Bridges scored a team-high 24 points for the Knicks, who saw their 9-game winning streak come to an end.
Meanwhile, the Cavaliers make it 9 wins in a row by dispatching the Mavericks. Correspondent Bob Stevens reports.
Evan Mobley had 34 points as the Cleveland Cavaliers won their 9th straight, all by double digits, defeating the short-handed Dallas Mavericks 134-122. So the Cavs improved to an NBA best 30-4 and are now 10-0 against the West, while the Mavs dropped their 4th straight. Mobley says their 20-0 run spanning the first and second quarters set the tempo for the game.
That's the main thing, starting off strong and keeping it that way throughout the game. When you let teams like this linger around, they can build confidence, and sometimes they can come back. So just jumping on them and keeping it that way.
Cleveland had 7 players in double figures. Karis LeVert had 17 for the Cavs, while the Mavs, who were playing without Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, were led by Quentin Grimes, who had 26.
And the Celtics roll in Houston even without one of their main scorers. This report from correspondent Adam Spillane.
Derek White scored 23 points as the Celtics improved to 26-9 with a 109-86 win over the Rockets. White made 6 threes and he shot 8 of 16 from the field while adding 4 rebounds and 2 assists.
You make a couple and then you start taking some shots that maybe if you aren't feeling it you wouldn't take, but I think I've been doing a pretty good job of just remaining confident, and it's nice to see some go in and then just try to consistently put up a good shot.
Jason Tatum finished with 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists for the Celtics, while Peyton Pritchard connected on 8 of 10 shots off the bench to finish with 20 points. Jalen Green led the Rockets with 27 points, but they shot just 36% for the game.
And a battle of the big men goes the way of the Spurs. This report from correspondent Bruce Morton.
Stellar play at both ends of the floor lifted San Antonio past the Nuggets 113-110. Spurs interim coach Mitch Johnson liked what he saw.
It's a great moment of growth for our group. We had multiple people who stepped up in different ways, and, it's something to build upon.
Chris Paul's scoop shot with 54 seconds left gave the Spurs the lead for good at 111-110. Then Victor Wembanyama forced a last-second turnover by Nikola Jokic, and San Antonio walked off the court with the win. Wembanyama finished with 35 points and 18 rebounds, while Jokic finished with 41 and 18. The defeat ended the Nuggets' 3-game win streak.
Other finals from around the NBA. Tobias Harris's 24 points and 10 rebounds helps the Pistons hold off the Hornets 98-94. The Magic leave Toronto 106-97 winners over the Raptors. CJ McCollum has 50 points for the Pelicans in a 132-120 win over the Wizards. The Kings score 46 points in the first quarter and hold off the Grizzlies 138-133. And LeBron James has 30 points and 8 assists as the Lakers upend the Hawks 119-102. The defending Stanley Cup champions get a big shootout win. The Jets interview a former nemesis for their open head coaching position. And the Dodgers add another big-name international free agent. That and more is coming up. A former thorn in the Jets' side during his playing career is the latest candidate to interview for their head coaching job on a busy NFL news day. Correspondent Gethin Kulba reports.
The Jets interviewed former Titans coach Mike Vrabel for their head coaching vacancy. Vrabel is the second known coaching candidate to meet with the Jets, who spoke to former Washington and Carolina coach Ron Rivera on Thursday. New York also interviewed Louis Riddick for its GM vacancy. Cornerback Sauce Gardner will sit with a hamstring injury Sunday against the Dolphins, who are likely to be without quarterback Tua Tagovailoa with a hip injury. The Titans will start QB Will Levis and the Browns' Bailey Zappi in their finales. The Rams will rest Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and Puka Nacua.
In college football, the College Football Playoff says they will not change the dates of their 2 semifinal games. SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey requested the playoffs switch the dates of the Orange and Cotton Bowls in order to benefit Notre Dame, whose Sugar Bowl win was a day later than normal due to the terrorist attack that killed 15 people New Year's Eve in New Orleans. But the playoff committee decided to keep the Orange Bowl between the Irish and Penn State on January 9th and the Cotton Bowl between Ohio State and Texas January 10th. Turning to the NHL, the Panthers hold on for a shootout win at home. This report from correspondent Jane Ferry.
The Panthers blew a pair of 1-goal leads before Sam Reinhart and Anton Lundell scored in a shootout to complete their 3-2 win over the Penguins. Florida was 40 seconds from a regulation victory until Ricard Raquel scored on a power play. Matthew Tkachuk had given the Cats a 2-1 lead with the power play tally 10.5 minutes earlier.
It's a tight game. We've been in a few of them as of late, and on a back-to-back, we knew it was going to be that way. They've been here, for a few days, so I just thought it was a good effort, and we would have liked to close it out there in the third, but it took a few extra minutes and some great goals and some great saves in the shootout.
Gustav Forsling also scored, and Spencer Knight made 29 saves as the Panthers won for the second time in 5 games. The Pens remain at 500.
Other finals from the NHL, the Blackhawks double up the Canadiens 4-2. Brandon Saad has a hat trick as the Blues shut out the Senators 4-0. Leon Draisaitl's goal with under 2 minutes to play in regulation lifts the Oilers over the Ducks 3-2. And Steven Stamkos' second period goal is enough for the Predators, who blanked the Canucks 3-0. And the Los Angeles Dodgers are on the verge of bringing in another international free agent, reportedly agreeing to a 3-year deal worth $12.5 million with South Korean infielder Hae-Sung Kim. The 25-year-old played second base, shortstop, third base, and in the outfield while in South Korea, and was a career .304 hitter in 8 seasons in the KBO. Steve Carney, AP Sports.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. Massive wildfires roaring through the Los Angeles area have left neighborhoods in ruins. Haya Panjwani has the latest.
The Pacific Palisades fire is the most destructive in Los Angeles history. Fierce wildfires fueled by powerful Santa Ana winds. Residents are fleeing from burning homes through flames, ferocious winds, and towering clouds of smoke. Actor Steve Guttenberg told Sky News what evacuations looked like in Manhattan Beach.
There were people in wheelchairs trying to get out who didn't have time to put their footrests on. And we had to figure out how to pop a wheelie with these wheelchairs. There were little kids. There were mothers trying to find their kids. There were anxiety, panic attacks. It's terrible.
Thousands of firefighters were battling at least 3 separate blazes. LA Fire Chief says at least 2 people were killed and over 1,000 structures have been destroyed. I'm Haya Panjwani.
An area from Texas to Tennessee bracing for another winter storm. Peter Mullinax at the National Weather Service says more than 23 million people are under winter storm watches.
As much as 3 to 6 inches of snow with localized amounts perhaps approaching 8 inches. And this will likely lead to disruptive travel conditions.
The Justice Department says it will release special counsel Jack Smith's findings on Donald Trump's efforts to undo the results of the 2020 presidential election. But it's keeping the rest of his report under wraps for now. That from a filing to a federal appeals court as changes remain pending against 2 co-defendants in the Florida classified documents case. Meantime, the president-elect's asking the Supreme Court to call off Friday's sentencing in his hush money case in New York. And Israel's military says troops have recovered the body of a hostage from Gaza and are examining a second body to see if it's another hostage. 100 or so remain from Hamas's October 7th raids. This is AP News. Minutes of the Federal Reserve's December meeting show policymakers expecting to slow the pace of interest rate cuts in the face of persistent inflation, potential tariffs, and other Trump policy changes. Seth Sutel now with the AP Markets Report.
Stocks ended mixed on Wall Street after an uneven day of trading. The S&P 500 rose 0.2% Wednesday. The index stumbled 1.1% a day earlier after some stronger than expected reports in the economy got investors worried that inflation might stick around for a while. The Dow Jones Industrial Average added 106 points. It's about 0.3%. The Nasdaq Composite slipped 0.1%. eBay jumped 9.9%. The online auctioneer is starting a collaboration with Meta Platforms that will have some of eBay's listings appear on Facebook Marketplace. Treasury yields held steady in the bond market. The yield on the 10-year Treasury note was little changed at 4.68%. Seth Sutel, New York.
And I'm Ben Thomas, AP News. Thanks for listening.
All right, Mariana, so welcome back. It is 9:30 in the morning, and you are totally caught up with everything. You got the back-to-back AP updates from sports and from the news. Hey, remember, tonight at the 360 Beach Club, that's the Old Naked Fish across, down in Tesupe, the beach side, right next to World Resort. You know where it is. It's going to be the Moving the Economy Forward. It is going to have the Marianas Business Network, and it's going to be with the governor. It's going to be a town hall format, and we're going to be there. We're going to be there tonight, and that's going to be part of me setting up stuff today to bring that to you. So you can tune in and watch it tonight. We hook up and get them squared away with all their audio, fun stuff, and all that. So it's going to be good. If you can't make it down there, at least you'll be able to watch it, and then you'll be able to rewatch it. So Governor's going to be down there. He's going to be taking questions. I'm not involved in any of that stuff other than just trying to shoot some good video for you guys so you can watch it. And I will probably be off screen enjoying a beverage that I'm not able to enjoy when I'm up in the press box. So Louisa and Chuck, you want to come down and hang out. Tobot, you should hang out too. Speaking of Chuck, before we get out of here, last night, Chuck Cabrera's first game as a behind-the-plate umpire. I'm so glad I was there to see it, and he did a great job. Congratulations, Chuck. Great job calling balls and strikes and running that game for your team down there, the boys in blue, when the Pirates and the Dodgers went head-to-head. So great job last night. The Saipan Baseball League is lucky to have people like you who are interested to go through the certification process and everything, because nobody could play those games without the umpires. As much as people give them a headache sometimes, and it's not fair. Trust me, as a hockey referee growing, before I came out here, I know some of my best friends gave me the most crap out there. I hated it, but the money was okay, so I did it. But I do know that tempers flare a little bit. Nobody gave you any guff because they know you're awesome. So I just want to let you know that you're appreciated by us and everybody who's out there. And Louisa said you're her favorite umpire. So you got that going for you, which is nice. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in today. We'll be back again tomorrow for another edition of Good Morning Marianas. It is an absolute joy that I get to do this stuff. I'm so thankful. If you are a business and you would like to advertise with us, please do. Send us a message. And if you know folks who it would be a good fit for them, then put us in contact. Let's do that, because we're reaching a lot of people. We reach them live, and then people are able to watch us afterwards. So it's a big thing where we get to do all this stuff together. And again, we're growing together. We're growing with you guys. And it's a lot of fun. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being a part of the show. Thanks for being a part of the fun. And thanks for letting me live this cool life that I've got. I don't get to do anything terrible. I get to really have fun. So you guys have a great day. Take care. And we'll see you. We'll see you nice and early tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock ish.
Good morning, Marianas. So many things we gotta discuss. Happy day, Tirawamian greetings to Rhoda, Guam, Saipan, and Tinian. We're all here on the news from a beautiful place with Pacific views. It's always so much fun on Good morning, Mariana.